And what's up, guys? I mean, it's different space today compared to the ones we are somewhat used to. Um, Usually doing this on X Spaces, and now we are here on our YouTube live chat. It's a very new experience for me, myself, and I'm guessing for all the other panel members here who are here with us. And special guest, we have Mr. Sandy, Coach Sandile of WP, and with Miss Leah. What do we have? And we have a very exciting show for everyone who will be watching and is watching. And with our Yorkies also who are in the background waiting for us to start off. Well, to come back in for our chat later in the show when we talk everything Proteas. But for now, let's get introductions on who we have. First and foremost, I know I've mentioned everyone's name, who we have, and where are they um, stationed basically within the whole cricket structure within the domestic um, game of SA cricket. We'll start off with Miss Leah. Miss Leah,
Yes, yes, sorry, I am here.
yeah.
Sorry, can you just repeat what you said, if you
No,
don't
I
mind?
said, well, introductions, where are you based, and yeah, your introductions, name, surname, where you based, and what can basically, yeah, just that. So for
Okay.
now,
All right. Okay, so name's Leah Jones. Western Province Women's Team Captain. Based in Cape Town. So yeah, that's me.
yeah, Mr. Sandile.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandy Lekpaluza. I'm based here in Durban. I'm the assistant coach of the Hollywood Bets Dolphins. Yes, I'm just from Ntuzuma. That's the township that I come from.
Yeah. So, Mr. Sandile, congratulations first and foremost. Dolphins winning what everyone was mostly looking forward to. Well, me myself being a Durban boy, I'm not looking forward to seeing the ladies lift the trophy as they did this past week. And starting off with you as the champions of the game right now, how are you feeling actually after the whole tournament has finished, and what were the conversations when the season started, like to basically be where you are guys are as champions?
Ah, well, how I'm feeling at the moment, it's elation. Just I'm out of this world in excitement because the girls worked really hard. The coaching staff, everyone that was involved worked extremely hard just for this feat to happen for the Dolphins ladies team. However, it did not come overnight. It was a 3-year plan coming from Coach Angelique Tai. So, so in the previous year, she wrote me in. She wrote me in to assist. That was unofficially back then, but then in the 3-year plan, she said she would like to remain in the top six. The top six being in Division One. Um, in the first year, she wants to remain in the top six. The second season, she would like to be finishing at least mid-table, and then in the third season, which is this season, try and go for glory.
Hmm.
Lucky enough, we worked towards that goal and we achieved it.
Yeah, and my and it's been a process. I'm sure, like you've said, it's been a process. Like what great champions do is they trust in the process and believe in what they're working towards, and it paid off for you guys.
Yes, it definitely did. As you all know, we work with all sorts of individuals, and we all have to sell a dream, and everyone to believe in that dream, and for it to come true. is because everyone bought into that idea of working together towards a certain goal. In this case, it was the one day cup for us.
Yeah. Miss Leah, you are with Western Province, and you guys have played some phenomenal cricket in the women's T20s, and eventually taking the glory of the women's T20s. How was the process for you guys, and what were the chats beyond closed doors, and and with you guys, the players, within the women's T20s, with eventually finding you guys, you know, being crowned or being going on this very great victory trail, basically.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a lot of hard work throughout the off season. Like everyone else, I guess. Sorry, I just want to put my video camera. There you go. Yeah, and then I think a lot of the girls have worked hard throughout the season, throughout the off season too.
Yeah,
And I think it was just going out there, expressing ourselves, being ourselves. And I think the brand of cricket we wanted to play was to be obviously explosive. And I think in all aspects, I think we were exactly that. So yeah, I was happy with the campaign. Um, so yeah, happy to be crowned champions.
can we look forward to possibly more of that from Western Province? Are you guys working on possibly like great champions do? They try and evolve and improve amongst themselves. And could we possibly see more of Western Province and the team basically going further? And I don't know, the aim to dominate the sports, right? And like that's what every team aims to do: dominate and improve from within, and go out there and dominate the teams that they're coming up against.
Yeah, 100%. I think for the past few years we've won a trophy each year.
Mm,
I think it's only been if I'm not mistaken, 2018 or 2019, one of those years we haven't won anything. But I mean, obviously, having winning a trophy every year, you can become complacent, I guess. And that's one thing we always said we don't want to become. We always want to come back fighting harder the next season. Because at the end of the day, we do have that, everyone wants to beat you type of thing. So yeah,
yeah,
and yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, we enjoy it. So obviously, we'd like to next season even try and get the double. We haven't done the double in a while, and it's kind of eating on us a bit.
I mean, Sandy,
So
Coach Sandy is listening and he's on some nope.
yeah, I'm sure they would like to do it too. But I mean, yeah, I think every team wants to. But yeah, I think we just need to come back much more hungrier than we were this season, and yeah, eventually just take the double. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Coach, you yourself, I mean, you get to be part of this amazing team, the Dolphins ladies, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of growth from within the ladies themselves in the past year, and how they were able to get through the adversities that they might have going through, and then eventually sticking to what the process was, which you said has been a three year plan, getting you guys where you guys are right now. How has been the growth basically within the team?
Growth has been enormous, not within just the girls space only. I myself has found myself learning a lot
Mm,
within the women's space kind of cricket over the few years, especially
yeah,
when it comes to professional setup. Um, before I go on any further, I just want to congratulate Leah Jones and Western Province for being crowned champions, obviously for the T20 Cup. You girls have done really well. I see you speaking of about a double, etc., etc.
It always
I
a
won't.
good competition.
It always does make a good competition. We love playing against Western Province. And also looking forward to the season ahead. But to go back to what was asked, um, there's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of players coming in within the team as well, because a few senior players have also left the side. So despite those challenges, the team also found unity. Um,
Mm,
with found unity when it comes to just accepting and welcoming the rest of the other players within the team structure, and you could never tell that there was new faces as much as they did get nervous within the season. They
yeah,
slowly find their feet towards the back end, and they also found themselves contributing towards the goal of the team.
yeah. I mean, Leah, also, I'm sure you found yourself having to having some challenges along the way during the season. Um, Basically, keeping a game face on and trying to do the best as you can for the team, push the ladies forward. And I mean, it's not easy to win a whole competition, you know. Especially we all humans are here, and we do go through adversities, like Coach said. How was your journey throughout that whole process and being eventually being crowned champions? Like you said, you aiming for to be called champ one day. How has your journey been from start of the season to now being crowned champions?
Yeah, it was tough. No one obviously sees what happens behind closed doors or those types of things. Everyone just sees what happens on the field. But I mean,
Mm,
we all go through, as Coach said, we all go through different things. But I think as a team, our team especially, we're like a big group of like a big family basically. So it makes my job at least much easier. Because there's always, if someone is maybe lacking somewhere else, and then someone else can pick them up. So it's like the saying, the no soldier left behind.
yeah,
And I think with us is like absolutely no soldier left behind, because I mean there's always someone that's motivating you to do better. There's always someone holding you accountable. So yeah, I think because obviously that family aspect comes in. So yeah, and I think we had to dig deep, especially towards the end of the season. Obviously people were tired and so forth, and we had a couple of injuries. Even in our last T20 game, we had I think it was like 5 or 6 of us missing from the usuals. At least they were missing, and we had to bring in a couple of youngsters, and I think they did really well. But yeah, I think it's just that family effect that we have, that just gets us through every single season. So yeah, it's a great group of girls, and hopefully we can just get better from here.
I mean, it's a good thing we have Karen, we have Coach Sandy, and we have you, Leah, here, who are both involved in the professional side of the game. And we've seen some growth within the women's game internationally, and we've seen a staggering slow growth of the game within the domestic scenes. You know, what can we possibly look forward to moving forward from within the domestic game? Let's start off with the ODI. I wanna twist this. I'm gonna ask you, Leah, first and foremost. What can we look forward to within the domestic game, within the ODI setup, the ODI format, moving forward in the ladies' game in total? Not just looking at the Western Province alone, but within the whole South African cricket structure. What can you look forward to if someone had to, if a kid had to be on something, I want to play a game. What can you say to them to motivate them and to be part of it?
Um, it's a tough one, I guess. Can't really see the
Sorry.
future, but I'll try. No, I think it's obviously the game's evolving. People have, especially in the women's structure, has obviously gotten much better. I think back in like a few years back, like a score of 150 was good enough to win you a game in ODI in the
Mm,
50 over space. But now, I mean, some teams are chasing it down in almost just under 30 overs even. So I think the batting is obviously needs much more work, but I think the scores that they've been put up the season alone, some have been close to 300. So and it hasn't been like once or twice, it's been a couple of times. So I mean, we could see maybe some more explosive batting to come. um So yeah, maybe some more big scores, more bigger score games, I guess. People have to see that. So yeah, one of that could be one of those. But yeah, I think all around, just in general, maybe more thinking cricketers even. So yeah, you never know.
Yeah. Um, I'm being told there's a question within the comments. I'm trying to look at the comments here. Um, oh, how do you handle the older players in the team as a young captain? That's the comment from
Yeah,
Mr.
it's easy.
Sandy. Yeah,
Yeah, I think to be honest, I've been around in that team for quite a while now, so I know I don't want to say grown up, but I've kind of grown up with them, the older players, for a while. I've known them for almost 10 years, so I think I've gained their respect in that aspect. And I think that, like, if they're not pulling their weight, I obviously have to go up to them and speak to them and say, look, this is, what you have to do, those types of things. I mean, they've been around for
mm,
long enough to know exactly what needs to be done. But yeah, they don't give me stress, if I must put it that way. The older, I must say, older guys or girls, um they do pull their weight when they need to. And they do help me when I need the help, at least. So yeah, I think it's a really good bunch of, I don't say seniors, even must put it that way, that I've been blessed with in that team. So yeah, they're not a tough bunch of people. They are really good people, I guess. I guess I got the better side of the older group, if I must put it that way. Because some teams,
yeah,
they come very tough and difficult, but the ones
yeah.
that I have, are not difficult at all. They the total opposite. So yeah, makes my job easy.
I mean, it's very impressive at the age you're in, and then having to lead out a team to be crowned champions. And the T20 is not that easy of a format to basically just win like that because it's a very explosive format.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, congratulations on the great victory, honestly, for you and with the Western Province. Coach, Sandile, man, I wish we could have you on video, hey? um, Same goes for you, man. What can you look forward to, like, in your view, within the domestic structures of the game, T20 wise now, in the T20 format, to help grow and get more players coming in. As a coach yourself, also to get more coaches to come in and be involved in this beautiful game of cricket. Where do you see the game within the, I want to say, the next 3 years, possibly the women's game specifically?
Um, a good question. Working with the juniors within the Dolphin structure, it's quite exciting to see the talent coming up, and also within the same age group, there's now what's this, the World Cup, under 19 World Cup for ladies. So that brings up a new challenge and bring into perspective uh, the fact that the likes of SWD already have someone that's played under 19 and also uh, plays in the T20. She's quite exciting. Tabitha Legrande. She opens the betting with the big Tasman Brits. Uh, she's shown some good strides within the T20 ranks. And yeah, I foresee a very good future, not just for her, but for a couple of under 19 players. There was this young lady, Gemma, who plays for Western Province, who played a superb inning on, I think they were playing against, who you guys playing against earlier?
The Titans.
The Titans, yes, and she scored a magnificent 50. She also comes from the under 19. She actually destroyed the Dolphins under 19 team in the final of the under 19s back in December. So yeah, there's just a good group of players coming up in the ranks, and they're not boxed in. They're quite curious players, to say the least, who are
Yeah,
willing and who are willing and ready to just take the game on at certain intervals. Yes, they play smart, brave cricket, but yes, they're very attacking as well. And the
Mm,
good thing about it is that they all bet in the top half of the team. So they get that exposure with the new ball. They get to experiment. They get to entertain, so to speak. So I
yeah,
foresee a very bright future for SA women cricket, especially when it comes to the T20, because of such bravery and such attacking cricket coming from the youngsters. Of course, they would not be able to do it alone. The likes of Leah Jones, the likes of Nondu Misoshanga, I said, the likes of Tesman
yeah.
Brits, always playing a big role in guiding those players along to sort of to groom them to be what they are and express themselves and enjoy the game.
I have a question here for both Leah and Coach Sandile. From O Sandman. How did you for Sandile? Sorry, Leah can answer this first. How did you manage to groom the SA under 19 girls that are coming through the structures with the team within the team?
Yeah, I think it's just like I said, we have a lot of senior players in our team, or older players, you must put it that way. So I think with them, it's just having to go speak to them. Um,
Yeah,
Obviously, like they've been training with us for a while, so just to see like the processes that each one goes through, how the environment is, and then obviously just giving them the opportunity to be themselves, play
mm,
their brand of cricket and play like they would normally play. Especially someone like Gemma. If I must use her
yeah,
as an example. I mean, she's really explosive. She just goes out, sees the ball, eats it. I mean, I've been asking her for how long, like just play your natural game, just be you.
yeah,
Um, so I think it's just give them that freedom, that opportunity, because obviously you don't want to put too much pressure on them, and then they think they score a few low scores here and there, and they're just like, oh my word, this is not for me. Um, and you just have to like remind them that that is okay, that is cricket. So I think it's just always being there for them when they have those tough times, and allowing them to go through those tough times. Even like especially in a loss, if you take a loss, allowing them to experience that loss, handle it in their own way, those types of things. But still being there for them at the same time, but also allowing them to have that freedom to be themselves, their own character, all those types of things. So yeah, because I mean, it's a lot of different personalities in the cricket team. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's it.
yeah. Coach, how has been grooming those young ladies, man, into becoming champions and basically letting them having them get out of their own heads and try and enjoy the game.
Obviously, Leah touched on the environment. It has to be a welcome environment where they know they have room to make mistakes, and those mistakes do not actually make their careers, but they can learn from them and move on. So lucky enough for us, we got a group of good senior players. As much as the team is very young, but we got some good girls that have good heads on their shoulders, who are always willing and giving the right kind of advice, so to speak, because it's not always the coach's word that is always going to be final, but those little things that come around and about from the other players who've been there, who've experienced it, actually also holds a very big a very big what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, look, I'm just lost for word at that one. But when it comes to it, we don't restrict them, we don't box them in, we just work with them and make sure that they find it easier for them to just express themselves, without them being restricted or limited.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry about that. Coach, I'm sorry you were answering my question earlier.
Yes. Oh. Okay, I guess you didn't get my reply or answer.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't, unfortunately.
Sure. It's fine.
Sorry.
If I'm not nervous enough already. So, uh, so like I said, we don't box them in. Like the senior girls that are within the pipeline, the girls that have
Mm,
been there, have done it before, also lend a helping hand when it comes to just giving advice.
mm,
Because, uh, like I said earlier, the environment is welcoming. We give them space to make their own mistakes and learn from their mistakes, without restricting them or making them feel as if they make that one mistake, then they're not going to be part of the team. It's always
yeah.
just look ahead. You can always be better. You can always improve your game. Taking care of the small little things, especially when it comes to basics. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We just don't box them in. We don't restrict them.
Yeah. So we have another question for you, here, Coach, from Outdoor, one of our panelists also. Oh man, I'm sorry. You like you said, I'm sure heart must be pounding right now. um, the question from Outdoor, what do you think of the structures within the women's cricket to groom more players to be more stronger and being able to play a longer format, the longest format of the game, which is the Test game.
Oh, whoever asked that question really thought
So,
really hard.
so
Um,
I think the question stems from we've been having, well, Otto and I have been having conversations about the fact that the ladies don't get much test games when it comes to the Proteas, or they don't get that much exposure, or within the domestic side, we don't get that, and then you get to the Proteas where you get that those 1 or 2 games a year, and they struggle, you know. So
uh,
what can we do to basically help the girls be more ready?
um, Play more cricket. I wish this is the wish for me. I wish there was for the ladies, especially in the division, the first division. I wish they would introduce at least a 3 day game or a 2 day game where we just experiment on playing a longer version of the game. However, I know that Cricket South Africa have got something planned when it
Mm,
comes to the longest formats of the game. It's just that it hasn't taken off just yet, and I'm not one to speak for Cricket South Africa at this point. Um, but look, there's more cricket being played around the country right now. Like I said,
mm,
uh, we now know of this under 19 World Cup. There's also now the Women's Super League. There's club champs at the moment, which are starting tomorrow. So the girls are slowly catching up to what the guys have been doing. Soon enough, there will be a clubs champs for the longer formats, which is 50 overs for the ladies, which I'm hoping and I'm holding thumbs for it to be successful
mm,
or happen in the near future.
mm, mm. I mean, Leah, also, you must also be looking at the test game and being something you would love to be part of it one day.
Yeah, yeah, of course. A couple of us at a couple of my teammates actually, we've spoken about having like maybe 2 day or 3 day game, just to introduce it in the domestic space. Because it will be interesting, I guess. Because we're always watching our men play the 4 days and things, and like
Yeah.
it's just more tactical and it's more like about outsmarting your opposition, which is I think pretty cool. So yeah, I think hopefully one day we'll have something like that in the domestic format for
I
the
mean,
women.
it's been great chatting to the both of you guys, and congratulations also being crowned champions. Coach, I hopefully we'll be able to stop Leah and the Western Province and being possibly one day being crowned champs. And Leah also be aiming for such. But please stay with us. We will be getting everyone else from from the team to just chat with you guys for our next part of our show. So I'm guessing Friday is currently in the process of trying to do that. But yeah, it's been very, very much great. And we have the ladies right now playing Sri Lanka, and which has been very entertaining. The game yesterday when we lost. What have Leah first and foremost? What were your thoughts about the game? What are your thoughts about the game yesterday?
Yeah, I don't think I'll comment too much. But I think it was, like you said, very entertaining. I mean,
Mm,
301, you wouldn't think that it would have been chased down. I think a lot of people were like, okay,
no.
cool, got the game in the bag, but eventually didn't. And I think the innings that the captain played, Sri Lanka's captain played, was just phenomenal. I think Wolfie's one
Mm,
was like, it was exceptional, and then she just came and topped it off, and it was like, I'll be better than you, you know. And I think
yeah.
that's how cricket is. You want to be better than your your opponent in small ways, and I think Atapati did that really well. So I think she did. She played like a real captain's knock. I think both of them did,
Mm,
but obviously hers won the game in the end. But yeah, I think it was just for me. I think I'll just say it was entertaining cricket. It was a
yeah.
good game of cricket
Coach.
to watch.
I have to agree with Leo when it comes to the entertaining part. Um, that lady from Sri Lanka, Atapatu, she's something else. But take nothing away from our own Laura. She's just a beast of runs. She's scoring. She's like a machine recently. Um, looks like there's no stopping her at the moment. And they're playing quite great brand of cricket. And for the game to go over 300 and being chased down, it's something very special, something we don't get to see quite often. But I won't lie. The game yesterday, last night was just something else.
Yeah. I mean, I know Sandman was very much impressed by what he saw because in the group, the man was there for some, you know, this is something else. I think it was him and Faida who are very much impressed. Faida, you can talk for yourself about that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even watching the game live. I was following it on Google and on ESPN checking for, and I mean, what an outstanding performance by the ladies, and of course by Laura Goldwart. And I think at the beginning of the entire series, during one of our Twitter lives, we had a chat about Atupatu just performing outstandingly, just
Mm,
as a captain and as a batter and as a fielder, um, just as an all rounder, and how she just led the Sri Lankan team into challenging the ladies Proteas.
mm,
Man, what an intense game! What an intense game! And I think just as a whole, both on the Proteas and on Sri Lanka's side, brand of cricket that they're just displaying should have sort of shows what we can look forward to at the end of the year. Just to sort of compare what we've seen in the T20s. And I think again it's something that we had said in the Twitter lives as well, where we're going to see some brilliant cricket coming from the ODI setup in the Proteas camp, and so it did. Uh, brilliant cricket, brilliant performances from the ladies. Yeah, and I think also what helped was the conditions as well. We had some great conditions in Parch and in Kimberley as a whole. I know Wolfie did complain a little bit about the Kimberley wicket. It was a bit tricky. It wasn't as predictable as she would have liked, I guess. But yeah, brilliant cricket from both teams.
yeah. Welcome, Ottawa, man. You've been quiet there, hey?
No, it's not true. Nah, I'm listening in, man. I'm listening in. I
Yeah.
just need to make sure that you follow the conversation nicely. And I was listening to Coach answer my question there about the test formats. And yeah, it's always gonna come down to more cricket and more cricket and more cricket. But I loved the idea of introducing maybe a 2 or 3 day game within the ladies setup and within women's cricket as a structure, just so we can actually test the waters and push their abilities here to see how they can actually cope under that much more stress in the game. You know, it was good to actually watch them have the opportunity to play test cricket in Australia. But I mean, playing against a team that well versed and playing 5 days of cricket, it was something that showed us where we lack and what more we can do thereof, you know. But it was also interesting to see them meet that opportunity and the difficulty of that the way that they did, you know. It shows promise. With a lot more work, there's a lot of development that can actually occur there.
Are you guys waiting for me? I
Yeah,
thought
dude, you're the host of
Ottawa
the
had I literally thought Ottawa had some more had some much more to say there. Hey,
Hey,
Mo,
bro.
Mo.
I, I was just blown away by Atapatu's performance, man. Goodness me. Like,
I think I think everyone was, but also at the same time, I think everyone expected it to happen because, like we've spoken about it and on our previous Twitter Spaces that Sri Lanka are out here to play. They're not here they're not here for the sun. They're not here for the scenery.
and I
Also,
did say
you
it.
know,
It's gonna be a lot worse than what you guys were thinking about. I
you
told you.
know exactly. And I remember I was kind of skeptic on some. The ladies have what it takes to basically put great performances. And I did say the comparison between the women's game and the guys' game, the ladies, whenever they lose unconvincingly in the sense of they give you a chance to be on some, you know what, we can still do it. We can still do this. Whereas with the guys, they just fall off the ground. But sticking to the ladies' game, Mo, I know Mo always has something to say about the lady. She's a trust me, Leah and Coach. She is one of your biggest advocates when it comes to the ladies' game.
I'm the biggest advocate when it comes to the ladies' game because I want to see that much change. And I think I put my camera on so that you can notice. But you're making comparison again, between the men
Oh,
and the
but
women's
this
side.
is why I
And
said
when it
I'm
comes
gonna
to
stop.
losing,
Trust me, guys.
but
This is how
yeah,
we are, Mo and I. This is how we are every time.
every single time. But like going to obviously back to the women's side, I think, like you said, we had a conversation about it in one of the Twitter spaces or the X spaces, as to
Mm,
how are we expecting the women to perform. And for me, I think from what we have spoken about, they did better than we expected. But they could have done more, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna stick to it and say, Uguti, Sri Lanka did not come to play. That is nothing surprising from their end. And I'm even surprised that there's some point where we got, our chase in, and we
mm,
definitely still have a lot of work to do. And I think Coach Sandy did mention earlier, but yes, there's still a lot of work, and they put in that in all the forms as well. But for me, it's seeing the plans that, let's say, CSA has for the access that the women will have to the resources, not comparing them to the men, but we definitely need a lot more game time. We definitely need a lot more confidence in all the forms, because I think the series against Sri Lanka showed where we are more comfortable when it comes to, let's say, the 1 day international versus going on
yeah.
in another form. So I'd like to see that confidence from our Proteas ladies in all forms. And I think there's a lot that they need to work on in that point, because again, Sri Lanka did not come to play around.
Sheesh.
They
Sheesh. Oh,
definitely did
okay,
not.
Mo. Sorry,
Uh,
who was that? Coach?
just saying,
Oh, that was you.
they definitely did not come to play around. Look, South Africa were finalists in the previous 50 over World Cup, so they also want to redeem themselves. They also want to gain some confidence going back home. To
Mm,
say that we beat the finalists, like Leah said a little bit earlier, everyone wants to beat the champion. Everyone wants to be ahead of you. So
mm,
yeah, they came prepared. Especially that lady Atapatu. She's just
Atapati
been.
is really going to be a point of conversation at this point because she came in guns blazing. She was
I have a
ready.
question. I have a question for Coach. Have you been impressed by your players? How she has improved immensely in the past year and a half, especially where she has been forced to step up with the likes of Shabim having to leave to leave to retirement. I'm talking about Unonkululego here. Have you been impressed by how she has improved and how she's become a leader within the Proteas setup? And I mean, I asked you this because you work closely with her within the Dolphins setup.
Oh yes, yes, I am quite impressed. She's done very well. Even when she comes back this side, she's always got those leading qualities about her. She brings
Mm,
changes, gives advice to all the other players, especially when it comes to the spinners. She's very very vocal, very work. Her work ethic is quite good as well. So she doesn't slack about. She even plays club every now and then when she comes back from Proteas when she gets time. So with her, you know for a fact that you're gonna get 100%, if not above 100%. She's always committed. If I
mm.
can say anything about Nonkululeko Mlaba, I can never doubt her commitment when it comes to her playing affairs and cricket career.
I mean, also answering fan mail. She also does that very willingly. I'm just saying. I'm still waiting for my two jerseys from her, signed jerseys. Please relay the message.
I will definitely
On his face there.
Yeah, it's more.
But
I
yeah,
was that day.
I'm hoping
I
she's
mean,
watching
Sandy, man,
into
you've
the.
been quite sorry.
No. I said I hope she's watching because I did tell her that I was going to be doing this this evening. So hopefully she gets the
Yeah.
message from you.
No, you can also relay the message if she's not watching. You can be some, hey, this boy is still waiting, you know. But
But
Sandman, man, you've been
no,
I just
if
wanted to
you
German
agree
people,
to this,
guys.
if you agree
guys.
to this,
I'm never shy, guys. I am never
against
shy
yourself.
to.
German people,
I
guys.
am never shy to be on some, you know. Sandman, you've been quiet. You've been quiet there, man.
How's it, everybody? Thank you for everybody pulling through today. Coach Sandy, or aka Bizo, if I have to put it that way. Um, in just going back to touching base with the cricket and obviously with the series and progression into the World Cup in September, what do you think the team can do differently where we've had a bit of inconsistent performances? We look good in the first game or we look good in one of the games in the season and all of a sudden we drop. What do you think we can pinpoint from the ladies? What is the issue? Or is it a brain issue, like a mental space where we just have a brain fart, or is it technical, or is it a surface? What could we say is the issue on their side?
I wouldn't say it's not an issue, but there has been a few changes within the team as well. There's a couple of players being introduced, the likes of Elas Remarks, Ayanda Slubi, Karabo, the wicketkeeper, the 16-year-old. So with them also coming into the fold, it's also not going to be an easy task just to dominate when it comes to the international space with the youngsters coming in. But as you can see, they're slowly finding their feet as well, especially the like of Ela's remarks. She's been doing very well, consistent. Yes, I know her to be an all-rounder who can also take the game away with the bats. She's been there or thereabouts. She will come. She will find a way. So I'm not that really much worried about the performances right now. But I can see that they are building towards something for not this World Cup, but for the World Cup after this or in the near future. If that answers the question.
It does, coach. And just a follow-up question. Look, we have a lot of quality batters in our squad, but it's concerning to see that if Captain Laura Wolford is not in the squad, we don't really senior players or certain players don't pick up their hands, or you find that there's a gap, or you can see that there's a player missing. How do you as a coach, and taking away from the process, like just in general, how do we bridge that gap when you have a player that has 3,000 odd runs carrying the team? How do we bridge that gap when they're absent? How do we make the team better and continue winning and scoring above past scores?
Okay, now that's going to be a little bit difficult for me to answer. Because as you know, cricket is like the Manhattan. It's never consistent. One day you can score 100, the next day you are down at the gutters. So with that inconsistent, just it could be a coincidence that they don't get to perform at that time. But there's also been players that have been missing, senior players that have also been missing to help out the team, especially the players that played in the World Cup, the likes of Chloe Tryon, who's been hampered by injury as well. What's her name? Jafta. She's also been a little bit niggly, and those kind of things that do disrupt the flow within the team when you have your number one, so to speak, not being available all the time. But then the girls that are coming in that also need to flex and just take up the ownership and also stamp their authority and say, hey, this I also want to be in within the setup and yeah, make their mark. But at this moment, it's slow going. Not that they're not going to get there, they will. It's just that it's not easy when it comes to international cricket because everyone starts you out very quickly.
Coach,
Uh, thank you,
I
coach.
actually want to ask this. Like I've been looking at some of the performances on the Proteas, the momentum Proteas, and it just begs the question sometimes: where do we see fit that we would need to put in maybe a more prolific player in the space of a more experienced player, because they are not scoring the runs that we might require within that space and setup.
You're gonna get me in trouble. I can't really answer that.
It's just one of those difficult ones when you just look at a team setup and it just kind of feels like sometimes maybe, yeah, going for experience has always been a stable situation in picking a squad for balance and diversion, yes. But there comes a point where we feel it is necessary now to maybe pick a more dynamic sort of player, to play alongside the likes of Laura Volvart. You can't have the same type of structured player going down the list of the batting order and one attacker. So you just need to find that groove as well. So maybe it pulls into question some players within that starting 11. But most importantly, there's that juncture where Sune Luz fits in, and overall it's been a bit
Up
disappointing.
and down.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's cricket.
Mm.
The up come with the whole game of cricket. And I can't single anyone out because this is the team sport. At the end of the day, as much as they've been there for a very long time, they're also they also have their own demons. It's effective to them as well to know that they're not performing, that they're trying the best get get to themselves back to the peak. Unfortunately, it doesn't always go your way in cricket. One point can change it all. One once said it was a local slogan, but in cricket, one ball can definitely change it all because in one game you can hit that one drive and it goes for four, and it just lights you up just like that, and then you find yourself scoring big. And then the other day, that one ball, the same ball, could put you out. So the inconsistency is always going to be there, and people are very efficient and wants people performing time and time again. In cricket, it doesn't work like that. But at the end of the season, when you evaluate and look at the stats, that will come into the fold. Um, but while the season is on, it's hard to change anything because you will try and move one piece from one place, and then when you move that piece and it doesn't work, people will look at you differently, be like, "Why did you change it? It was working before." As much as it wasn't getting the result, but it was working before. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's a kind of thing. With cricket, it's the unknown. So
Ah, it's a tough
answering
job
your
being a
question,
coach at this level.
trying to be as diplomatic as I possibly can here. Because I've been there before. I've played cricket myself, so I know the ups and downs of the game. So it's never easy, and no one goes into the game not wanting to give 100% and not perform, especially when it comes to performing for your country.
I mean, I wish Leah was here. I had a question for her actually. Um, she's also still a very young player. Wolfie is still a young player. You know, Wolfie is captaining at a high level, fortunately, for Wolfie. I just wanted to ask her, like, if she had to look at how Wolfie has been able to handle the captaincy with the Proteas, looking at how has she's also done, could she also see herself possibly being within that setup of the Proteas women's Proteas setup one day, and eventually, going up to those bigger stages and World Cups and everything. But unfortunately, we don't have her here. But yeah, Faida, Mo.
I'm so glad you called my name because I've been itching to talk. I've been, but I mean, I think it's based with me. I'm just gonna build on what coach has just said. And I think on previous conversations that we've had about this team, and with the amount of injuries that they've seen in the squad, and also trying to build and rebuild, and find out who needs to fit in where, how the order should look, whether it's a T20 format or an ODI format. I think just based on the results and the performances we've seen over the past couple of weeks or past couple of days, the conversation will probably become redundant with us seeing the same result from the captain. Wolfie has been knocking and carrying this team throughout the T20s and the ODIs. I mean, that phenomenal performance last night and in that second ODI, and I think in the first ODI. I think that is evidence to how she's been carrying that team. And then here and there, where consistency plays a role, Marizon Cap also um, contributes to that stand, which is, and I think we've mentioned this before, um, is a massive concern. Is a massive concern for the squad, and seeing that time is really not on our side. Maybe I'm a bit cynical in saying that, but seeing that the season domestically is also currently over. The season we'll only see the ladies perform again against India, I think, after winter or as spring comes into play. So again, like I said, it is a bit worrisome that we sort of throw the weight on Wolfie to say jy moet speel. And if she doesn't play, or if she has a bad day, then the entire team has a bad day, and she can only lead from so far, and she can only lead so much. Um, and I'd like to believe and think that it is if a captain has a bad day, it sort of trickles down into that team. Um, so I think from my side, it's very, very, very concerning. Well done, big ups to Wolfie. But how are we, or how are the cricket structures that be making her job easier and easing off the pressure on her? at her young age with that big responsibility of being the captain?
Well, Wolfie is what, 20, 25, 24, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
25.
Yeah, but
25 this
25.
year.
But
Yeah.
all in all, I think everyone has been impressed by the fact that the captaincy has not diminished her game. It has actually somewhat elevated her game, where she is not going out there and is on some everyone else is gonna do
Can
everything.
anybody
No,
else
she's
hear
been
anything, or is it just me?
It's just you, buddy.
So all of you are just quiet.
Yeah. I got a question for Coach Sandila here. It's not those job defining questions, Coach. It's a gentle question. I wanted to find out, do you think it's time that we start going to the direction of adding a psychologist or a mental doctor into the cricket teams going forward? Because I think mental aspects of the game actually do go a long way, especially throughout a season or at a World Cup. Do you think it's time we start adding that into the coaching staff?
Most definitely. Because players go through a lot. Um, People just see the girls running around on the field, trying their best, but privately and maybe sometimes the game itself can get a little bit too much. I was just reading, was it last night? I was reading about this lady, Meg Lanning from Australia. She recently retired because she had she was also experiencing difficulty with the mental health. And recently we saw Glenn Maxwell. He also said he wanted to sit out because he did rest because of his health. So it would be something that would be very ideal to have a psychologist to come and help out those. Excuse me.
yeah. Um, all in all, Coach, thank you for being part of
Yeah. I
our
also want to
crazy.
ask Coach a question. And yeah, this time, no jobs on the line here. Coach, I just want to know what do you think we can specifically do, as this community of people who support women in sport and women's cricket generally right now? What is it that we can do as a forum entirely and as CSA in its entirety to kind of bridge the gap where the support for the women's game is as huge and as more profound as it is for the men's game?
I'll to the space of marketing and actually doing road shows to just market the cricket for ladies. We had an idea here now that we are champions of the 50 overs, that we're going to the schools where the under 19 and under 15 players come from, just to go and go off the trophy and show that the girls do play cricket around with this, and then also have a few practices at their school grounds so that they also see the amount of work that's put by them. Um, so yeah, those kind of things would definitely help. And word of obviously, if we go to the school, the little girl looking up to the Protea player or the Dolphins player will definitely go home and tell their parents, and they would want to come and watch the game. And by doing so, get more numbers in, and hopefully, uh, 2, 3, or 4 years, we'll see fully packed stadium where the people are coming to watch the ladies.
Yeah. I mean, Coach, it's been. Are
We
there
are
any
here,
more
all of us,
questions?
because we love this game. And it doesn't matter who plays it, we're there.
Any more? Any more questions for Coach, guys?
I think
Going
if we
once.
carry on with the
It
questions
takes
and
time at
comments,
this
it's going
stage.
to go on for the longest time ever. Because since we are then on the question of what needs to be done, Lord knows I'm going to go on and on and on.
Okay. To wrap it up,
Oh,
Coach.
and we know you, senior advocate.
To wrap it up. To wrap it up, Coach. Honestly, it's been a pleasure to have you here, being part of this little craziness that we do here every
Fine,
week.
you want to wrap it up
Um,
for the night?
with these guys. But and hopefully, I was hoping Leo will be here when we wrap it up. But Faida, please take it away. Thank you.
Why are you guys handing the wrapping up to me? Like, am I supposed to like?
I'll open it up.
Generally, when that
I'll open
happens,
it up.
it means we're closing with a prayer. Like that, it's
Lady,
giving.
you invited us here.
It's giving. It's giving. Close with a prayer.
You're scaring our
Our
guests.
It's giving
Father.
prayer
You're
vibes,
scaring our
right?
guests.
Maybe we should just pray for our women's cricket, bro.
Anyways,
I think
Faida.
we should. I think we should pray for the Proteas, just to continuously
Yeah.
just be successful as they already are. But Boo, thank you for driving us through this conversation. And of course, Coach Sandile, thank you for joining us and having so much of patience with all the questions. I think this was light work that this team can give in terms of
And also,
asking questions. You really didn't get the fire.
Coach,
Guys,
also,
the
please
usual, thank you
don't
so much
forget.
for joining
Thank
us.
you.
With us.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Oh, the free t-shirts that Boo is
Yeah.
sending. Thank you, yeah.
I'm
Thanks, Jones.
Ah, thank you. Thanks
Earlier.
everyone. So good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
Coach.
We'll meet again next week.
Yeah, you know.
Definitely. See you guys. Cheers.